Hi guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel, and today is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day to all of you guys. And I thought that it would be a perfect opportunity to talk about some romance movies and my favorite ones of all time. And this was a pretty hard list to come up with, but I'm pretty confident in my list and I'm excited to share it with you guys. So without further ado, let's talk about some romance movies. I lied. Before I do get into that, please go ahead and comment down below what are some of your favorite romance movies of all time. I would love to hear it because this list is just my favorites and I know you guys are gonna have some different ones. Okay, now for real, let's get started with my top 10 list. So coming in at number 10, some might call this a guilty pleasure, but I am not guilty at all for liking this movie, and it is Romeo and Juliet, the Baz Luhrmann version. I love this movie so much, and I remember not liking this movie that much a while ago, which is so ironic now because I'm so obsessed with this movie, and a lot of it is due to Baz Luhrmann's amazing direction and amazing mind and creativity, because I love that they have such an old classic tale told in the modern day, and I think it works perfectly. And so much of the reason why I love this movie is because of the amazing visuals and how just aesthetically pleasing this movie looks. I love that this movie has a distinctive style, and the thing is, when I first watched this movie, I didn't like this movie, and I think the reason that was because I was trying to take it too seriously, and I didn't embrace what Baz Luhrmann was doing here. I didn't embrace the stylistic choices, the fast camera movements, the fast cuts, and over the years, Baz Luhrmann has become one of my favorite directors, honestly, because I love his visuals and I love the visions that he gives his story. And as you guys will see later on, there's a second Baz Luhrmann movie on my list, and the more that I watch this movie, the more that I like it. And I haven't even seen it that recently. I think the last time I saw it was a year ago, and this movie just stays in my mind. I love it so much, and it's my favorite version of Romeo and Juliet because I just think it's so pretty. Coming in at my number 9 is Your Name, and this is like one of the best animated movies I have ever seen. It is so good, and what works really well for this movie is just the fact that as an audience member you think you know what's happening, but in reality you actually have no idea what's happening. It is such a great story, and the relationship that they build in this movie from the two characters is great. It's like one of the best relationships that I've ever seen because it makes you want them to be together, and as you're watching the movie and there's a bunch of conflict in the way, it really gets like emotional. In the third act, I cried. It's so good, and the visuals are stunning again. The animation is fantastic, and this movie has like one of the best plot twists ever, and I don't think enough people talk about it, because if I ever make a video of my top 10 plot twists in a movie, this is definitely going to be one of them because it's so unpredictable. And I went into this movie expecting something, and I walked out with a completely different experience than I had ever anticipated. Coming in at my number 8 spot is one that I saw recently, Juno. I loved this movie so much. It was hilarious. Elliot Page is so good at just playing Juno. Like, he's fantastic. He's literally amazing in this role, and I love in a movie when I can enjoy the lead character as often as I can, because sometimes in movies I'm kind of bothered by the main character, but not here. Juno is a fantastic character. This movie just has a great characters, and that's what I love about it, but it's just so funny, and at the same time it's so heartwarming. This is like my new comfort movie. I love it so much, and the characters are just so memorable. I just love this movie, and I was hesitant to put it on this list because I don't think the romance of the movie is like the main objective. Like, when I think of this movie, I think more of comedy rather than romance, but on Letterboxd it said it was a romance movie, so I'm just gonna keep it here as a romance movie. My number 7 spot for one of my favorite romance movies goes to About Time, and what I love so much about this movie is the characters are so memorable that after I turn off my TV, I'm still talking about them. I think it just makes the experience of the movie that much better because the entire time you're enjoying the relationship and you're rooting for the relationship, and it's so good. And the whole time element of the movie is fantastic. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, I always talk about this, but time in movies is like one of my favorite tropes. Time travel and going back in time, and just the explanation of time, and I think this movie has one of the most creative approaches to time. And Tim and Mary are one of my favorite couples in movie history ever. They're just like such a good couple that I would genuinely root for, and the actors help in making it so easy to root for them and love their relationship. My number 6 spot is for La La Land, and a big reason why I love this movie is because I think it has such a different approach to romance and love and the idea of soulmates, and I just love what it does with it because it feels so realistic, and the entire time when you're watching it you want these characters to be together as much as they can. A lot of times love isn't as easy as it makes it seem in so many movies, and I like the whole idea in this movie that you kind of have to take account what's best for you rather than what's best for the relationship. The directing of this movie is fantastic. Damien Chazelle is so good at what he does, and I just can't wait to see what he does next. And the music is also great in this movie, and as a whole this movie is like the total package of a great movie to watch. My number 5 spot goes to 500 Days of Summer, and talking again about realistic relationships, this is it. It does what a lot of romantic movies don't do. It's be realistic and develop the characters instead of the romance. It really lets us in on both of these characters' perspectives on the relationship and how they stand on it and their beliefs, and I love that the movie took the time to do that because you got to see Summer's side, Tom's side, and you kind of just got to see who was right, who was wrong in the relationship and what was best for them. And I think at the end of the day the movie just is perfect. Like, I genuinely don't have any flaws with this movie and that I can think of, and the movie also has really awesome stylistic choices that I love that makes it so enjoyable to watch, and again so unique. And the music in this movie is great. Like, so much about this movie is great. This is another complete package, and it's so clever at what it does. The dialogue is amazing. It's just such a great movie all around, and I couldn't love this movie more. Then my number 4 spot is again another Baz Luhrmann film, Moulin Rouge, and I just love this movie so much. One of my favorite musicals of all time. Like, this movie is fantastic and I love it so much. If you've seen the movie from the beginning, we know something about their relationship that I think was so bold of them to write in the story so early on, because I think it just elevated the relationship more, and it also made it much more heartbreaking. This movie is so heartbreaking. Ewan McGregor and Nicole Kidman are so good together in this movie, and along the other cast, like, everybody in this movie is great at their roles, and the music is so awesome. I never knew Ewan McGregor could sing, or Nicole Kidman, and these are some of my favorite songs ever. I love their versions of the songs. I'm always listening to the Moulin Rouge soundtrack like on a loop every single day, especially Roxanne. That song in this movie is perfect. It's so good. And again, it's just Baz Luhrmann's style is so awesome, and I love the over-the-top effects and the visuals and the quick cuts and the editing. He's just like so awesome, and I love everything that he does in this movie. And the next movie I want to talk about is Edward Scissorhands, and this is one of the most heartwarming and touching movies I have ever seen. And I love the relationship between Edward and Kim, and Winona Ryder is so good here and works so well with Johnny Depp, and I just love Johnny Depp. Like, anything he does I am gonna love in some way, shape, or form, and this is no exception. I love it so much, and I love this story so much because it's so different and it's so unique, and it's something that you just don't expect, and it looks so weird, but I love it so much because of that. And it's also so magical and dark at the same time, and I love that Tim Burton can do that with his movies, because I think this movie can be both at the same time, and so many of his movies can do that too, and I just love that this one does that. And that ice dance scene is so cute, and the score is fantastic in this movie. Like, I think this is a must watch for so many reasons, because at one point everybody should see this movie. Coming in at my number 2 spot is 10 Things I Hate About You. I've said it before on this channel, but I just can't get enough of this movie, and now that I talk about this one, I realize how much I like William Shakespeare adaptations. But really, I love this one so much. Julia Stiles and Heath Ledger are so good together. Like, they are so believable as a couple, and a lot of 90s rom-com movies have really annoying characters in my opinion, and this one doesn't do that at all. Like, I like both the guy and the girl in this movie, and they're both great, and I love Julia Stiles' character in this movie. She's fantastic. Everything she has to say, yeah, I agree with her. It has its little cliche moments like a lot of romance movies, but I don't care. I literally don't care. It bothers me a lot of other movies, but not in this one, because I just think the movie is so cute, and I love this couple so much. Every single time that I watch this movie, I seem to like them even more, and I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt's storyline here too. Like, there are so many parts of this movie that I love so much, and the ending of this movie is great. Like, this movie, the entire way through, is just making me happy, and again, this is one of my comfort movies. Speaking of such a movie that makes me really happy, my number 1 pick is actually one that makes me really, really sad, but I think it's one of the best romance movies, and one of my favorite movies of all time is Atonement, which I have right here. If you've seen this movie, you know how terribly sad this movie is. It's so depressing, but I love it so much, and I think this is one of the best romance movies of all time, because you have these two characters that always have conflict, and sometimes it could be annoying in other movies, but it works so well here. This couple never gets a break, but it works so well because you can really tell how much they love each other and want to be together, and it makes it so sad and so, like, frustrating, but they work so well. Keira Knightley and James McAvoy do such a good job here, and it's like, it hurts. It literally hurts to talk about. The movie has amazing directing, amazing editing, amazing writing. Like, this is such a well-written film. Just like Your Name, this movie is completely gonna blow your mind by the end of the movie, because it's leading one way and you think something's gonna happen, and then the story is like, nope, let's rewind a bit, and it gets insane. It gets so crazy, and I love it so much for that, but at the same time, it breaks my heart. But again, I just can't seem to stop loving this movie. And like, I think everything in this movie works so well together. It's like every single line is gonna make sense at one point. There's just so much to talk about this movie because it's just so well made, and every single scene is well thought out, and I think it just makes the movie so much better. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video and hearing me talk about a bunch of romance movies. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I hope you enjoyed it. And before you go, please go ahead and comment down below some romance movies that you love, because I love hearing what you guys have to say, reading all of your comments. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to my channel for weekly movie content, and also check out all of my social medias down below in the description. And yeah, that's about it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll make sure to see you guys next time. Bye, guys.